Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Wednesday. This is Abby with the Fairport Public Library, and I've got another craft for you. Today we're going to make something that'll bring some of that sunshine from outside inside and help brighten up your house. So let's get started. For this week's craft, you're going to need a plastic lid. It can be from anything like a butter tub, like that Country Crock stuff we always used to have in our fridge that could either be Country Crock or leftovers. You could use a Cool Whip. You could even use a smaller one if you want a smaller Suncatcher. I have more stuff to use, so I'm going to use a bigger lid. You need some glass beads. I got these at the dollar store. You could always get them at Joann Fabrics. You could get them other stuff. Now I have this geode stone coaster that I'm going to use. You do not need this. You can do it all with the glass beads if you want, but I'm going to use this for some intrigue, and then you're going to use the clear school glue, and that's what you need. I suggest that before you get started, you lay out your design on your lid, just so you know you'll have enough space and that as many beads are touching as can possibly touch. But I've already done that, so I know exactly what I want to do. So the first step is to put some glue down on the lid. So you're going to want to give a layer as best you can, so that your stones have something to stick to. You're just gonna pour this out. Now this craft is great because, you know, it's summertime and we wanna catch some sun, and, you know, it's 50 degrees outside, so at least something is catching sun and bringing light into the house. But this will be a beautiful addition to your home, and it'll bring the sunshine inside. All right, so I got a good thin layer along the bottom of my lid. So I'm going to start by placing my large stone first, because I want that to be in the middle. All right, then I'm just going to start laying out my design like I did when I was planning. So as I said briefly at the beginning, you're going to want the stones to touch as much as possible, because it'll be easier to peel the design out of the lid when you're done. Now, this is going to be an interesting video because it's going to take me multiple days. So I'm making this in the past, and it takes usually, from what I've seen, about 3 to 5 days of drying before you can peel this out. And that's what I mean. You're going to just literally peel it out of the lid when you're done. So to do that, you can check it throughout the week. It might take less time depending on how much glue you use and what stones you're using, but I'm gonna keep a napkin out just in case I get glue on my fingers. If you try to peel it out and the strings are kind of sitting there, then it's not gonna be ready yet. So you're gonna wanna make sure you are completely dry before peeling it out. Okay. Now, like I said, I laid this design out before, so I knew it was gonna fit, but if you wanna experiment as you're gluing, go to town. I feel like I'm missing, oh, there it is. Somehow found its way out. All right, so now this is when they start really touching. So if some glue starts going up on top of the design, that's good, because we're gonna put glue over it anyways to kind of seal it in. So don't fret. I went with a blue theme. There are multiple colored stones out there, all different types. You could get some really pretty stuff going. You could do rainbow, which, let's be real, I almost did, but because I had this blue geode, I wanted to kind of stay in that color story. And there are these really cool sea glass looking beads, and girl, I love me some sea glass. It's just the truth. All right, so there is the design that I wanted. Now I'm gonna take the glue and pour some more over it to kind of seal it in. Now I have a couple of those tall beads, so I wanna make sure I get some around those to kind of hold it in. They don't have to be fully covered, but I just wanna make sure it's all good. I'm gonna cover this guy. Now the clear school glue is the best because it's gonna dry absolutely clear. So you're not gonna have a problem like you might with the regular school glue. So I'm just gonna go over these big ones one more time just to get the top and the sheen on them. Not that they're not already shiny, but I think it's gonna be noticeable if there are patches missing of glue. You're gonna have some divots in there. Now there is the possibility of adding a ribbon before you put all the things in here, but I am going to do it afterwards and I will show you. If you do want to add your ribbon before you lay it all down, you're going to want to put that down first in the glue so that it kind of stays in there. Now you're probably not going to be able to see the amount of detail that I am, but I'm just filling in holes, and you can see it because the glue is pooling and making like little gaps. So that is what I'm doing with that. And I might use the lid to just kind of pop some of these bubbles because I don't want bubbles in my glue. If it'll let me. I wonder if I kind of do that shake thing, it'll get the bubbles out. But I don't trust myself to do that without spilling glue everywhere. So I'm just gonna swirl them until the bubbles go away, or until the bubbles are at a place where you can't really see them. There we go. Poking seems to be working. Or it's putting more bubbles in, whatevs. This is just the OCD in me. Want a bubble right in the middle of the clear glass. There we go. Okay, so there you go. That is it. So now you're gonna set this aside and let it dry. And like I said, it's gonna take between 3 or 4 days. So when we come back, it's gonna be movie magic, and I will have let it dry and we'll see the end result. We movied and we magicked, and it's been a whole week. So now this should be dry. So you can see as I'm separating it, there's no like strings hanging on to the lid, and I'm able to get my fingers around there. So now I'm gonna peel this off of the lid. You can see there's a little bit of sticking happening in there, which means that may not fully be dried underneath. And as I touch it, I can tell that it is not. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave this flipped over like this to dry a little more, and I will come back when it is more dry. So it is finally dry. You can tell on the back, no longer sticky, and I think it looks pretty good. Now, at this point, we're gonna finish, and you're gonna need some ribbon, and then you'll need a suction cup if you're gonna hang it on a window. I got these suction cups at Joann Fabrics, and I got this ribbon at the dollar store. So I cut a length of ribbon. And so here's the part that you can do. So there's a few spots on here that have some holes in the glue. So you can either put your ribbon through that, or you can, on the back, just use some hot glue on the back, put it on there, and then you'll have a loop. For me, I'm gonna use one of these pre-made holes that just happened because I didn't saturate it completely with glue. So I'm gonna pull that through, and then I'm just gonna tie a little bow at the top. Make sure my ribbon is the same length. There we go. I'm just tie a little bow at the top. I'm not gonna make it too long of a loop because I don't want it hanging at a ridiculous angle, but I want to make a nice bow. And here's the finished product. I had a little ribbon and I got one of those suction cups from Joann Fabrics. Of course, I show this to you on a day that it's raining and you can see that on my porch, but I think it looks really nice and it lets enough light through and it gives a little color to the windows. All right, we did it. It was a long process. Overall, it took about 8 days for the Suncatcher to dry all the way so I could remove it and finish it off. So just to let you know, it's gonna be a little while for your work to pay off, but this is a great craft that you could do with the kids. It teaches them a little bit of patience. They can use whatever colors they want. But either way, when you're done, you're gonna have a beautiful product that will brighten your house. So please share with me what you did. I would love to see it, and I will see you next week.